Closing comments then, to sort of encapsulate, again, for the listener at home, how they should be thinking, what they might do in their own lives to live a better life, to result in a better outcome for themselves, their families, and for everyone else. Starting with you, Annie, what would you say?
I think that more information is good. More information sources allow a person to figure out what it is that's meaningful to them. But I think you have to be disciplined about how you get information. I mean, I do a thing with myself where I time the amount. I actually set a timer for the amount of time I'm on X or wherever and it always goes off, and invariably I'm like, I must have misset the timer, And yet, if I'm reading something analog, a book of poetry, as I sometimes do, or a book of nonfiction or fiction, as I often do, that's a different kind of time. And so I think it's very valuable to be aware of that. And so my two things and my takeaways just off the comments about like where you can really become dissatisfied with the state of the world and the speed of information. For me, it's just like Father Time and Mother Nature. I spend a lot of time outside, or as much as I can, rather, given how much writing I do. But like I just go out and connect, go on a walk. In the winter, I ski. I hike, I'll go do a yoga class. I mean, this may sound like, what does this have to do with any of this? But it does, because I really believe the human condition doesn't change, even though all this technology does. And that we have to have this balance in our own self of all this stuff coming at us and just existing in the world. And then you figure out how you want to change, evolve, and in my case, report.
Benjamin?
The biggest thing I would say is and I tell this to my students all the time, I don't care what position you take, what views you have, I don't care what you end up doing with your life, promise me you will stay curious. Promise me you will ask questions. Promise me you still want to learn and you don't become complacent. And that means being active in your community on a small civic scale, understanding who you're electing on a small scale, but not just being apathetic. Because if you don't make decisions about what is going to happen to you, others will make them for you, and I promise you won't like the outcome. And curiosity is the first line of defense towards protecting what you value.
Andrew?
I would tell everybody to be very diligent with where they learn. And frankly, as far as the people that I've met, Steve, you are a phenomenal source of information, and the people that you vet to bring on this show are fantastic. So if people don't know where else to start, this is a fantastic place to start. If anybody's still listening, or for all of them that are still listening, they already know this to be true. And then the other thing I would say on top of that is if you don't want to radically change, like I am so willing to radically change for my family, small steps are where it all begins. Just small steps and understanding what are your kids watching on their screens? What is your wife watching, or your husband? What are they reading on their screens? What do they think about the world? Because we're not going into a world that is going to inform us on its own, so we must inform ourselves. And the only way to trust the information that you have is to be very diligent with what it is that you're consuming.